In the high-stakes arena of political chess, where every move is scrutinized and every voice echoes across the digital and real-world landscape, a new kind of player has emerged. One that doesn't just play the game, but one that flips it on its head entirely. Meet Vivek Ramaswamy, a maverick, a man whose name is now synonymous with seismic shifts in political influence. A name that was practically unheard of by the public 12 months ago. But how did he do it? How did a man of such humble beginnings rise to become a titan of political thought and action? This isn't just the story of a man. It's the blueprint of a strategy so effective, it has redefined the meaning of influence. From the art of perfecting skills to the mastery of selecting allies and adversaries, Vivek's playbook is an alchemy of authenticity, strategy, and undeniable impact. If I were to summarize the core of Vivek's political playbook, I would call it omni-channel authenticity, or in other more simple terms, representing himself and his beliefs everywhere in all contexts. There's an important underpinning to why that strategy is effective, and that has been Vivek's incredible self-development in the big three areas. That's skills, beliefs, and traits. The first thing I really want to highlight here is Vivek's communication skills. He's an incredible orator and clearly understands the art of negotiation and public perception. This has been absolutely pivotal in his political upswing that allows him to, as Gary Sheng says, become the man in the arena. There are some incredible clips from Ramaswamy that show that really well. For instance, this clip of him talking to a lesbian at one of his rallies.
What is your stance on LGBTQ?
Good. Thank you for your question. I'm going to answer it. I'm going to go into a level of depth that I don't usually go into on a campaign trail, but I'm going to do it because you asked the question, and you deserve an answer. I believe that transgenderism specifically is a mental health disorder. So my view is this: if you're an adult, you're free to live your life however you want as long as you're not hurting somebody else. If you're a man, you can dress how you want. If you're a woman, you can dress how you want. Identify how you want. We're a free country and I'm not going to stop you. But kids are not the same as adults. And we have to protect our children. And I'm going to go further than that. Mean that you're entitled to a trophy. You agree? Do you agree with me on that?
That's different.
You agree with me on that?
I get you. I get you.
You agree with me on that? All right.
I get you. That's different.
Because men shouldn't be swimming with women in women's sports competitions. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's
different.
That's what I'm talking about, right? And so that's what I'm...
Notice how he is able to diffuse the situation and actually get her to engage with the ideas, to understand what he's actually saying, and helping her realize in this instance that their views aren't so different, and really they kind of want the same things at the end of the day, which is usually the case most of the time with most people that are opposing you. It's just differences in opinion and differences in perspective or viewpoint, and those can be aligned. As far as traits, it's very obvious he's an incredibly resilient and adaptable, flexible individual, and that's an incredible set of traits right there to have. And of course, if we're talking about Vivek Ramaswamy and personal development, then you already know that when we're talking about beliefs, we can only be talking about the 10 truths. There are plenty of people who have discussed the efficacy of Vivek's 10 truths, so I won't bore you guys to death, but yes, it is absolutely incredible that he made it so easy for you to understand what is it that this guy believes, and do I believe in the same? Do I agree with him? Do I not agree with him? What does he think? It's also really cool to see how Vivek remains authentic, whether he's talking to an ally, such as in this clip with Jordan Peterson.
I think that if you look at the hard facts, there would be no argument that the success to failure ratio is an outlier in the form of success. And these aren't multiple different enterprises. So this is one thing they purposefully get wrong here. My company that I founded, Roivant, was a parent company of multiple subsidiaries. Each of those subsidiaries housed different drugs. That way, scientists could actually have skin in the game in their own projects, something they don't get in big pharma. So that was the point of building the business this way.
Or if he's talking to someone who is trying to directly challenge him and oppose him, such as this individual on the Breakfast Club in this clip.
I want to change how people look at politicians. And when I see that someone hasn't did anything at all to be of service to mankind, to take a leadership role, it's not good enough to just be on city student council. Were you a leader? All of that applies. Have you been able to get anybody in the room at any time, from a high school gymnasium to Ohio, Republican leadership there to now? Have you been able to get anybody in a room to believe in this vision?
I've always been drawn to healthcare. That's why I ended up founding companies in that space. When I was in high school, part of what drew me into it was that I was a volunteer at a local hospital. I actually became the leader of that group of volunteers that actually discharged women who had recently given birth. That was it. Nothing big to it.
Did you do anything we can point to stand out?
But I want to say something about that, because I say that in the book. If I'm being really honest, why did I do that in high school? A part of the motivation, I'll be just brutally honest with you, was part of the motivation was that's actually what allows you to get into a good college when you graduate. Is
right.
You want to check the box of community
so it was
service.
about you.
So there was an
about
element,
self.
so there's that, and I'm admitting that in a way that very few other people do. But I got to be honest about it. That was a big part of why I did it.
Vivek, unlike almost any other politician we've ever seen, is willing to be wrong and even walk back a stance if he now becomes more informed, which is already a rarity because his policy and his stances are very well formed to begin with. Some of the people Vivek has chosen to align himself with include highly influential and polarizing individuals such as Jordan Peterson. Additionally, on the business side of things, he's got allies such as Patrick Bet-David. On the adversary side of things, we've got political opponents such as Nikki Haley, who Vivek is ruthless about absolutely dismantling and exposing. He has done a fantastic job of using Nikki Haley to showcase his point about the governmental rot that exists currently. Whether you agree with him or not, his tactics and strategies have been incredibly effective. Vivek has already used the confrontations with Nikki Haley and Chris Christie to further reinforce his own narratives, turning any potential setbacks into an opportunity for growth. So let's go over what we've been able to learn from Ramaswamy thus far. The key strategies are having a solid foundation built on self-development, evidence, history of who you are and want to be. Omni-channel authenticity, being yourself in all scenarios. Careful selection of those who you align with and oppose. The true power of Vivek Ramaswamy can be thought of as the synthesis of self-development, strategic authenticity, and finesse in managing relationships. And that's it. Thanks for watching the video. Really appreciate it. If you are named Jimmy, or even if you're not named Jimmy, please consider subscribing. I'm going to try my best to be better at making videos and providing value to all of you. Thank you.